Hey there, De-Crypt back again with another video for you today. Today I want to discuss something with you, not a very long video. A lot of you probably bought Bitcoin at or near the peak in December last year and are probably now in panic mode, like most people are. I want to show you something that might set your mind at ease, or help to set your mind at ease anyway. Wherever you bought your Bitcoin, whether it was at 10,000, 15,000, 16,000, 18,000, even at 19,000 or whatever, I don't think it's going to matter too much. If you compare, or if you think about money in the bank, if you do get interest these days, what are you going to be getting per year, per annum? You'll be lucky to get, well, in South Africa where I am, you'll be lucky to get 4 or 5% per annum. So if you are down right now, I wouldn't worry about it too much. I'm going to show you something now that's a little bit interesting and maybe a little bit reassuring. I want you to take a look at my screen right now. I'm on CoinMarketCap, screen number 1, the top 100 coins. Have a look at the Bitcoin graph over here. Have a look at Ethereum underneath it. Have a look at Ripple underneath that, and Bitcoin Cash underneath that, Litecoin underneath that, EOS. Now EOS strays slightly. Don't you think that these look very, very similar to each other? Except for EOS is a slightly more rounded at the top, but it's basically still the same shape. Then we have Cardano underneath that again, and we basically get the same shape as all the rest. And then we got Stellar underneath that, and as you can see, they all follow basically the same pattern. Now we all know that Bitcoin is like the reserve currency in the crypto market. Just like the dollar is basically the reserve currency for all fiat currencies. That is what the role that Bitcoin plays in the crypto market. They all follow the basic trend of Bitcoin. Now, as you know, Bitcoin is in a really slump at the moment. In a real slump at the moment, there's been some serious manipulation of the markets, as we know from a previous video, the Mt. Gox debacle that has created a lot of panic in the market. But I think they are basically done with what they are going to do now, and we are ready to head into the real market, if you'd like to call it that. I just want to go to the Bitcoin graph or the Bitcoin chart, and I want to show you something. If it would come up. There we go. Okay. Don't know why it's so slow now. If you look at the Bitcoin chart at the moment, my computer is now seriously slow. Anyway, if you look at this Bitcoin chart, you'll see Bitcoin has been pretty flat compared to what happened in December. Now, in December, nothing special happened. There was no news. There was no market manipulation that we know of. There was nothing that out of the ordinary that could have forced this price up like this, except I have a theory, and it's not just my theory. I've picked this up over the last few months, and I think it holds water. If you look at when Bitcoin really started to come up, it was just after Thanksgiving last year. And the theory is that interest started to rise in the cryptocurrencies, and over the Thanksgiving weekend, people sat down at the dinner table, at the lunch table, or whatever, and cryptocurrency was the predominant topic of discussion. After Thanksgiving, people went and decided to open accounts on the exchanges and get involved. And when you don't know anything about cryptocurrencies, the first thing you hear is Bitcoin. Everybody went and invested in Bitcoin, all these people anyway. And that is where this huge spike in price came from. That's my theory anyway. And then the interest waned slightly, and the price started to drop, and obviously the Mt. Gox things started the trustee started to sell off the Bitcoins, and well, we all know what happened to the price after that. So that is where Bitcoin is at the moment. As far as we know, the trustee of Mt. Gox has now sold off as much as he can, or as much as he is allowed to, although we know that he has plenty more Bitcoin, but that's not for him to sell. That belongs to the owners or shareholders or whatever of Mt. Gox, and the debtors now will be paid out of what should have been sold, and we trust that he has sold off basically enough to pay off the debtors, maybe a little bit more, but not much. The lion's share is now gone. What he can sell now is not going to affect the market too much if he does have any more to sell anyway. I took the liberty 10 minutes ago of just taking a snapshot of the Bitcoin boom, if you'd like to call it that, what happened in December up until today, and I've got that. I'll drag it in here. Now I want you to take a look at that, the shape of that piece of graph. Now I'm going to take this away, and I'm going to go, if you see this tiny little blip in the graph or in the chart that happened around about, where was that? November the 1st last year. I'm going to enlarge just this area. Oh, my computer is slow now. I'm going to enlarge just this area, and we want to take a look at what that looks like. There's the main spike there. Now if I'm going to drag my snapshot back in here, don't you think, there we go, don't you think that my snapshot that I've taken of what we've just experienced in December looks almost identical to what you see here? I'm just going to slide it a bit more that way. We had a slow increase, and then all of a sudden a massive increase in interest, and as you can see, a massive increase in volume, and the price shot up, and the same thing happened. We came down. I'm just going to slide this over way to the left. Let's get rid of that. The price came down, and we got into a consolidation mode, and then it started to slowly rise again. Now, don't you think, let me just get rid of this quickly. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to zoom out of this. If my computer would just work for me. Actually, no, let's go back to the Bitcoin chart. Let's just get it zoomed out. Oh, my computer is seriously slow. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, if I take my snapshot, which is now enlarged, unfortunately, if I add my snapshot onto where we are right now, right here, if I add this on to there, don't you think that that looks like a continuation of what the graph looked like in November last year? We are about, if I'm correct in what I'm saying, we are about to have another spike in the price. Now, as we know, the percentage increase that we experienced in December last year was enormous. It was huge. Now, if you add the same percentage of where we are right now from, I'm not sure what the price is at the moment, must be around about 8,000 odd. So if you add the same percentage increase from a price now of 8,000, remember where I did it in November last year, the price then was $330. It was around $300. We are sitting now at $8,000. If we add the same price percentage increase, can you imagine where we are going? I think we are about to hit this spike now. Like I say, the Mt. Gox market manipulation, if you'd like to call it that, is over. Essentially, it is done. Anything that the trustee sells now might affect the price a little bit. The price, I looked this morning, the price was slightly down and heading down. I don't think we're going to go too much lower. Panic is set in, and people are selling because they think, oh, the world is Bitcoin is dying, it's going to go to zero. It'll never go to zero. It never has, and it never will again. We are in an upward trend, generally speaking. If you go and look at Bitcoin from the beginning, it has only risen. We've had our ups and downs in the meantime, but it is, from where it started to where it is today, it's an uphill. It's a wedge. It's going up. So it doesn't matter where you've bought your Bitcoin. You might be sitting on, I know personally, I bought Bitcoin at $19,000. I know people who bought Bitcoin at $13,000, and they're sitting with it now, and they're crying. They're saying, oh, they've lost money. Nobody loses anything until they've actually sold it at a loss. And if you hold on to it, I'm willing to put my you-know-what on a block that by the end of the year, you're going to be singing a different tune. It doesn't matter what you paid for Bitcoin. You got it at a bargain compared to the prices we're going to see by the end of the year. It is common knowledge. It's not just my opinion. People who are much more knowledgeable about this than I am are speculating between $80,000 and $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year. And if I look at what I see here, I can't see why it's not going to happen. I think we are on the verge of another boom in Bitcoin and in all the cryptos. Litecoin, I think, is going to do exceptionally well. Some say it will do, percentage-wise, it's going to do even better than Bitcoin will, because their price is quite low at the moment. Although Bitcoin's price is also low. It's a bargain. At this point in time, it's a bargain. It doesn't matter what you paid for it. So if you are panicking at the moment, if you are down in the dumps over your Bitcoin that you theoretically have lost such a lot of money on, sit back, relax, and just watch. I think you're going to be blown away by what we are about to see. So hang in there, and let's make some bucks. Cheers. Catch you later.